Yo, what's going on everyone? It has been such a long time since my last DBOG video. I know I made a video about 2 weeks ago, which was my parallax episode, but honestly, that doesn't really count because I recorded that back in September. I didn't get around to editing it till like recently because, well, I'm a STEM major, so I've been back and forth through exams, labs, projects, just a whole bunch of stuff, bro. So I apologize for my inconsistency. It's probably not going to change because, again, it's going to happen again next semester and the semester after that. But I will keep y'all updated on, like, stuff with the game, maybe stuff in my life, keeping my series afloat, just everything of that. So this video, we're going to be talking about paths. What specifically with paths? Honestly, this video, I just plan to make it a little ambiguous because I just have stuff I want to talk about. Like that's what I like doing on my channel, just playing games in the background, talking about just things I enjoy playing, nothing of the sort. So this video, I'm not really going to talk about the process of getting transformations like Super Saiyan 4 or Super Saiyan Burnout, but I am going to talk about some things about that process that I liked, some things that I, just whatever, honestly, that's what I'm just aiming for, just whatever, because this video is to just kickstart like some of the other videos that I do want to make. And this video specifically, I'm gonna start from all the way with paths down to like where we're at as of currently at December 11th, and probably just mentioning some stuff that's gonna change, like the gravity chamber and HTC rework, stuff of that nature. But without further ado, I hope you guys enjoy this video because I'm more than excited to make it. I'm like trying to get back in the mix of things. So I hope you guys enjoy this and let's get started. Originally, when I was recording this part of the video, I was going to talk about everything, but I do think it's just easier for me to just break it up into segments and then edit those. So this part of the video is going to be talking about the story. You might be wondering, why am I including the story? Well, originally in DBOG, and I guess this is up until the Paths update, but you would make your character, you would run through the story. At every 100 levels, you get a new transformation. That's cool, but it didn't really add it wasn't really like nothing crazy, I guess. It was just, at the end of the day, it was just quests. And here it is more or less the same thing, but I do just like the fact that it's two different stories. Of course, with this update, that was bound to happen with how much love GT is getting. But I do think I just really enjoyed it, that the fact there's two different stories and we can start on whichever one. Of course, I do think in the future we're going to experience both of them, but at the moment, I wouldn't even have like a certain prediction for how they're gonna go about doing that. So that's something to keep in mind, but I just really enjoyed that. Like, that's just a quick thing to talk about. Like, I know it's not a big portion, like it's just to get levels, but I thought it was pretty cool nonetheless. When I was talking about obtaining transformations, I wasn't going to talk about like a whole guide because there's already a plethora of videos on that, and I'm not really going to go through the process of doing that because I'd just be wasting time. I do want to talk about the process of it because it's way different from before. In the past, once you reach a level threshold for your respective race, you can transform. That's cool, calm, and collected. But now at level 850, the game really opens up for you by a lot. So now, especially now, like there's so many different paths. But for this example, I'm gonna use Saiyan. As a Saiyan, you have 5 different paths. You have 2 general ones, which everyone can use, and then you have 3 race exclusive ones. The one I went for was Super Saiyan 4. And Super Saiyan 4, basically I low-key think it's the longest one, but hey, someone can fact check me on that. But basically you gotta go to GT Goku. He'll give you a quest to find all these pieces across the different maps. And then after that, you create the Blitz Wave. You turn into a golden, not even a golden great ape, you turn into a normal great ape, master that, then you have to wait to turn into a golden great ape. And then I think at some point you gotta fight great ape baby, or it could be, a different order, but that's what I remember. And then after that, you have to wait until you turn into a Super Saiyan 4. while the waiting is a little bit annoying, but I do understand why they had it there, but I can see why it's a little annoying. But then the transformation feels earned because like you went through all of that pain and suffering and waiting and boredom and who knows to get this cool transformation. And with Super Saiyan 4, the devs love this form the most. I can tell. There's either, I remember it was either 2, 3, or 4 variations. The number of variations doesn't matter. It's the fact that they have multiple compared to all the other races only having one. Super Saiyan 4, obviously, like, especially with Daima coming out, you can't really say much about this. There's no reason that Daima wouldn't be in this game, right? There's normal one, there's Daima, and those have 2 different animations. But then when you fully perfect Super Saiyan 4, your aura gets deeper and you get sparkles and a new animation on top of that. I do low-key wish that some of the other races got these extras, but I'm not losing too much sleep about it because, again, it's not a big deal. It is something cool to look at and it is a means to flex on someone, but again, it's not a big deal. But other than that, like, other races have different processes, but I do just like the fact that your hand isn't being held. Like, they tell you the quest, you're free to do whatever, whether you want to do the quest now or later. Like, you're free to do whatever. And honestly, I just really enjoyed like the way they went about this because it actually feels like a path. Like, you know, the choices you make now goes into like a different outcome. So yeah, I just really enjoy that. I know I'm not supposed to be thinking too deep into it, but hey, that's what I like doing. Shortly after the Paths update, the limit breaking update dropped. Now, what is limit breaking? Limit breaking is literally just a means to making your transformation stronger. Each transformation literally has a normal cap of S when you fully like max it out or whatever, but one category can be pushed to Z. Now for Z, I believe for the damage stats, it goes up to 65% of a boost. And then for, you know, stamina and key type, I think it's 75% less of a drain. And then for defense is 25%, which might not seem that much. And I know for the weaker forms, it's definitely not going to seem that much. But I do know if you're like a bit tankier, you should be okay, I guess. But, you know, other than that, it depends who you're fighting and whatever the circumstance is. And so now what are like ways you can get the mastery points and, you know, things like that to make your form stronger? Basically what you do is you can go through masters, they drop 1 mastery point. Then you can go to raids and each of them drop a different amount. It depends on the difficulty, honestly. The newest ones like Kid Buu, Janemba, Grade 8 Baby, are in Majin Zoto maybe. I'm not too sure about that one. But I do know for the first 3 I listed, those drop 4 mastery points. And, you know, the weaker ones, 3, 2, and 1 respectively. So, which is the one that's the best to grind? It's literally Ultimate Evolution Cell. He drops 3, but you can basically one-shot him or two-shot him. He's really easy to fight, and it doesn't take that long. Now, with this update being said, what are the downsides to it? Well, I guess you could just say it's just kind of grindy. And I mean that in a way that Cell only drops 3 and the other ones drop 4. If you wanna take an hour out your day, with Cell alone, you can probably do maybe about 30 or 40, which isn't too bad, but comparing it to like if you do 4, that's like, you know, 40 or like 50, like anywhere between 40 and 60 for an hour, which isn't that bad, but like, I don't know, 3 and 4 is kind of little. So what I want to propose is possibly like a 2 times mastery points drop. Now, maybe this could be like, you know, in the Robux shop or a part of 2 times drops, which will make, you know, a lot of the grinding a little less heavy because there's still a lot of other stuff you have to grind in the game anyways. So I feel like possibly a 2 times mastery drop, you know, that'll help a bit. Or even with 2 times mastery, you know, I don't know, that could probably be a part of something. Because if you can go from 3 to 6, you know, you'll have to grind less, but you'll get more. And I think that's just a bit more efficient. Or, you know, they can just make it a temporary, like, you know, thing like 2 times EXP, where you can just buy it for an hour, you get those points, and then like, I feel like it'll encourage players to like do that more because Man, that is a lot, especially for the strongest transformations in the game so far. I believe Super Saiyan 4 for one of the categories at like A or S, you need 175 points. And mind you, you get 3. You get 3 points. That's, that's a bit of a jump, don't you think? Like, you're going to be grinding for hours on end to get there, which is okay if you want to do it. But me personally, would rather prefer, other ways. But thankfully, because of this Dragon Ball update, which will get its own video, you can go to Purunga. You can actually go to both Purungas and they'll give you mastery points 50 and 25 respectfully. Now, again, the only problem is I guess you gotta wait a week, but I guess if you can grind up the other stuff within a week, it's okay. But I get if someone doesn't really like this process because it is kind of a lot. But again, this is really early because the update literally dropped like last month. So with that being said, there's probably going to be more ways to obtain it in the future. So that's something to keep in mind. But overall, this was actually a pretty decent update. I was actually looking forward to this update the most because it's able to make the weaker form stronger. Like in a lot of my fights and stuff, if I'm not using Super Saiyan 4 or like Super Saiyan Burnout, I'm just using the regular one because that's the only other one I like or mainly use. So yeah, that's what I have to say about that. But overall, this was a pretty decent update. Now that we've reached the end of the video, I just want to briefly talk about the HCC and Gravity Chamber rework. Now, if you want more information or whatever, you can just go to Gray's stream that was streamed like some time ago. I don't even remember. But basically, what I want to talk about real quick is the fact that HCC and both Gravity Chamber are both getting buffs. So currently in the game, HCC, you can only stay in there for about 30 minutes. And you can only get about 10 stats a day. So this means if you have 350 stats, it'll take you over a month to finish it. And then not only that, Gravity Chamber is debatably worse because like Gravity Chamber, you can only stay in there also for about 30 minutes. But I don't even remember the stats because it was just so boring that I didn't even bother myself with it. But now with this change, you can stay in there for 2 hours, right? And you can get 50 stats. So now, because I literally just checked not too long ago, I have 350 stats that I had to do for one of my new slots. Now that changes that over a month timeline to about a week. And I feel like this will even encourage people to do it on other slots because at least now it's not going to take incredibly long. Like it still has to feel, a bit earned, but I think this is way better than what it was before. And you can also assume the same thing for Gravity Chamber, because they're like the same system for the most part. But yeah, so I just briefly wanted to talk about that because this is the update I've been waiting for. Other than limit breaking, this is the one I've been waiting for. So yeah, that's all I really have to say about this video. I want to thank you guys once again for coming to the end of this video. It's pushing like 13 14 minutes, but I'm just grateful that you guys watched this video. So stick around for some more videos. I will definitely, and I promise this time I will definitely be dropping more. And not only that, I am working on the next Parallax episode, so make sure you keep your eye out on that. But yeah, so everyone stay blessed and I appreciate y'all.